Hello again, Regents. Sharon Kramer here. I spoke at your April 9th meeting on agenda item number 5, misuse of the University of California's name on brochures and publications, but the action item was removed from the agenda, and as I understand it, you all did not get the supporting documents that I also sent. So your minutes show that what I spoke about was concern that military families are being harmed by downplaying the health effects of mold and mycotoxins in water damaged buildings. But that's not actually what I spoke about. What I want you all to do is cause the scientific fraud in the mold issue that was pinned by expert defense witnesses. I want you to eradicate it from the issue. And so I'm going to be back to see you on June 11th. And what I would like for you to do is reschedule this item for the August meeting. And I would like to come to present to you in more than just 1 minute's time the documentation of why you all really need to help solve the problem by helping to cause the University of California's name to stop being misused in publications and stop the unofficial seal of the University of California from being misused in litigations.
Hello. I think everybody's in, so we can start. We have a very packed agenda today, but I want to welcome all of you and thank you for your interest in the University of California and for taking the time to be here today. The Regents very much appreciate the observations and opinions that you provide. It is important for us to hear from the public in considering issues concerning the University of California. The public comment period is usually scheduled for 20 minutes. However, we have a number of individuals who want to address us, and because we feel that the topics that are before us are so important, we're going to extend the public comment period so that all 33 speakers can be heard from. I will ask the Secretary to call roll call and then review the guidelines for the speakers. Ann?
Thank you. Because we have a teleconference meeting going on, I'm going to call the roll of the committee members. Blum? Goober? Kiefer?
Here.
Lansing?
Here.
Malkarishian?
Here.
Napolitano?
Here.
Park? Sherman?
Here.
Zettel? Here. Your voting regents are here and you have a quorum.
Good morning. My name is Sharon Kramer. I'm here from Escondido, California, and I'm seeking your help with a problem that's adversely impacting the health and safety of families all across the United States, including our military families who are living in moldy housing. I was just in Washington, D.C. 2 weeks ago. They're trying to write legislation there to stop the discrimination of these families when what happens is they're made ill from the moldy buildings, and the physicians are being taught, no, these symptoms are not plausibly caused by that. So I was in Washington, and I was able to cause the Marine Health and Safety, their agency, to retract their new public health advisory. And that's what I'm here to ask you all to help with too today. There's a deeply seated fraud that it's been scientifically proven that the moldy buildings can't cause brain injury. And it's got the University of California's name written on the papers that are promoting it, particularly the U.S. Chamber of Commerce's. So I've sent document. I'm hoping that you all will address removing the University of California's name from papers that are promoting fraudulent concepts harming people. Thank you.
The bedrock to the insurer fraud scam is a bogus linear no threshold risk assessment model that I call the Veritox theory. It was created by two toxicologists, Bruce Kelman and Brian Harden. They're two of the owners of Veritox Inc., formerly Global Toxic. So in 2002, Mr. Harden and Mr. Kelman, all they did was they took data from a researcher's sudden blast exposure of mold being blasted into the throats of rats, and they added extrapolations and hypotheticals, and from there they professed to establish that it's not plausible people could be exposed to enough mycotoxins in water-damaged buildings to harm them. And from there, it became marketed as the mainstay of the defense. Oh, well, therefore, if these guys have proven mycotoxins can't reach a level to harm, then all these people out here who are claiming cognitive dysfunction and multi-symptom illnesses from exposure in water-damaged buildings are lying. And not only did it become that concept in the physician education, it actually became the mainstay of the defense in mold litigation. A lot of people have lost everything they own, and some have died from this concept being promoted. And sadly, the papers which promote it all have the University of California's name attached to them to lend credibility to the concept. So this is the bedrock of the problem. There are other problems with expert defense witnesses, some affiliated with the UC, who also have their names on these papers or have belonged to these medical associations and have used them to generate income while denying liability for causation of illness. How is it even possible that the Wall Street Journal could run a front page article on this story in 2007, talk about Dr. Saxon, how much money he's making, how his money was going to the Regents or going to the University of California? ACOM members are quoted in there saying people are losing everything they own because of the bogus Veritox theory, talking about it being a litigation defense argument. And this fraud still continues to this very day. That's 12 years ago. So this is the Wall Street Journal article about amid suits over mold, experts wear two hats. It's right there. The policy papers were being authored by expert defense witnesses in mold litigation, and then they were using them to help insurers avoid liability for causation of disabilities and death. And they still are this very day. So, you know, if I can understand this and the Wall Street Journal can understand this, then I think you all should be able to grasp why it's so important that you sink that fleet of deceit. So it's not just the regents of the University of California that have enabled this to continue for so long. There have been a lot of enablers. And what happens is, if you see something and you don't stop it, then when it comes up again, you have to pretend like, oh, I've never heard of that before. That's horrible. And so the matter got worse and worse and worse. The retaliation of when people say they're sick from moldy buildings, I can't even it's just so awful. I can't even, I know people have committed suicide over it. So what happened, Reuters started running articles on this last August about the housing. They started with the lead, but then they found the mold was what they were, a lot of the retaliation was occurring over. And they started running articles about how awful it is that anyone would allow this to happen to the families of those who give their lives to protect us. And so the spotlight was on it again, and the legislators in D.C., they're just outraged. They've never heard of it. So they started holding hearings, and gosh, we're going to clean this up. We're not going to let this happen anymore. And they started writing legislation about builder or tenants' rights, and we'll help them get to the doctor, and we'll get the buildings cleaned up. Well, no, nothing's going to change as long as the doctors are still being taught that these moldy buildings don't cause the symptoms people are reporting, such as brain dysfunction, blurred vision, numbness in arms and legs, loss of infants. You can't say you're going to hold a landlord accountable on one hand and then shield them from causation on the other by saying even if they committed these negligent acts, they couldn't have caused the symptoms that the people are claiming. So to make a long story short here, and I don't mean to be personal, but it is kind of, Mrs. Blum cannot do what she needs to do in Washington, D.C. with her bills until Mr. Blum helps her remove the scientific fraud that is miseducating the military physicians. That's the only way that you're going to solve this problem. You have to increase the liability for the causation of the illnesses to cause the landlords to do the right, and their insurers to do the right thing in the first place. So, we really need your help. So I'll see you all this Tuesday, June 11th, and I'm going to hand deliver an action item request that you schedule this for the agenda of the August 13th meeting, and I'll be bringing a packet for each of you. See you then.